안녕하세요 friends and welcome back to the Torsie channel for more IU and a very happy Friday to you. Ta-da! I like when I say that and the shirt matches. It's almost like I did it on purpose, which by the way I did. This is part of my merch collection, and if you ever want to twinsies with me, you can totally do that. All my merch is on my Redbubble store, the link to which is in the description. Today we are carrying on with our journey on the Palette album, and we are up to Full Stop, which is not the full stop at the end of the album. We've got a couple more songs after that, but Full Stop is for today. So we are going to be watching IU singing Full Stop on her show Palette with Gong Yoo. We will watch that full episode another time because I love IU's Palette. It's the best. And I also love Gong Yoo, so, you know, perfect. Over on Patreon, we're going to be watching a music show version of that. Looking forward to watching both of these. There aren't any music videos or anything, so these are the only performances of Full Stop we're going to get before we move on to the next songs. But it's such a lovely, pretty song. I'm very much looking forward to both of these. Over on Patreon as well, of course, we are watching Scarlet Heart. For the pain, it started out all lols, but it's fewer lols now and a lot more me holding my breath and being very, very stressed. But I love it. I love IU, or more to the point, actress Egean so much. So if you would like to join us for Scarlet Heart, of course, we've also watched Hotel de Luna and My Mister and Huri's Bed and Breakfast and Broker, and we watch Amazing Saturday every weekend. We do a lot over on Patreon. If you'd like to join us for any of that, the link to that is also in the description. Come on by anytime. The videos are always there, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreons. Without you, I would not be able to keep making these videos, not just on Patreon, but here on YouTube. You support this channel. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything. Their names are about to scroll across the screen. Please give them a lot of love, and let's get into Full Stop. Gotcha.
약속한 겨울바다도 못 잊게 사랑한 여러 번의 계절도 안녕 모두 안녕.
Something's finally just occurred to me of what is so particularly unique about IU and what makes her so interesting and beautiful to listen to. She has very unique and unusual phrasing. One of the things that people always remember Ella Fitzgerald for in her jazz singing is her phrasing. Ella Fitzgerald sang a lot of songs that are considered jazz standards, but how she sings them is not how they're written on the page. She does the very jazz thing of extending some things further than they're meant to be, and then stealing those beats from a different bar, and suddenly everything shortens in the next thing. She moved music in a different way. She broke phrases, as in actual sentences, I guess oddly, really, but it made it such interesting storytelling. It meant that emphasis was placed on unexpected words and changed the meaning of things, or changed our focus on things. And IU, we've already experienced that she's so great at jazz. We saw that in Modern Times. She does the same thing where her phrasing is often quite unexpected, that two musical phrases that should probably, in traditional songwriting, mirror each other, don't quite mirror each other. Suddenly the second one moves slightly differently to how the first went, and you think, oh, these two things that should be exactly even aren't, because she broke in a different place, or she extended in a different place and then ran it through into the next phrase, which you didn't necessarily consider. If you were trying to think ahead in the music, you wouldn't expect it to move that way. There have been plenty of times when I've talked about IU feeling quite Shakespearean in her lyricism, but that's also quite Shakespearean in phrasing, in storytelling. If you read Shakespeare's sonnets, there's a trick to reading Shakespeare's sonnets where, yes, they're written in iambic pentameter and then the two last lines are a rhyming couplet, but oftentimes, if you haven't necessarily been taught how to read the sonnets as he would have expected you to speak them, people think it's just line, 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 and it isn't. You have to really pay attention to the punctuation. If there is no punctuation at the end of the line, even though that's one line of iambic pentameter, Shakespeare actually wants you to run on to the next one. It hooks over and keeps moving. You really have to move with the punctuation with Shakespeare. It doesn't always happen. Most of the time, people read the sonnets like that. Just like in a song like this, you would expect the song to be even throughout its way, but she sings the way Shakespeare writes, where sometimes it does that and then other times it flows in a way you didn't quite see coming, and only she knows how to do, because she's the storyteller and the originator of the story that's being told. And another person might pick up the sheet music for that song and perform a completely different thing. They might perform it true to what's written on the page, or they might choose different phrasing that feels a little more natural or obvious. That's what struck me listening to that everything kind of ebbed and flowed in this way that meant you kept listening, because at first you thought how it was going to go, and then you realized you don't know how it's going to go at all, because her phrasing is so unique. It's extremely jazz, even though she's not singing jazz in this style. But the way she knows the rules and therefore can break the rules is very jazz. It was interesting to listen to. It really kept you on the hook, that song. Oh, to be Gong Yoo, just sitting there with IU like there singing at you. Ugh, jealous. Jealous. Okay, well, she always gives something different in every one of her performances, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like on a music show and with a camera all up in her grill, which is very different to two set cameras, and how that performance goes. So that'll be interesting. Most of the time these are shot very well for IU, but there's been a couple of times recently where I've found the camera person of the music show is doing too much for what she's giving us in our song, and I had hoped that they would stay still or stiller in order to let her do her work rather than try and force something through the camera. So I am interested to see how the camera operator is going to behave with this song. Always fascinated to see that. Thank you so much for joining me for more IU. 감사합니다. 사랑해요. And I will see you soon for more. 안녕.